What do Embiid, Jokic, Lonzo Ball, and D'Angelo Russell all have in common? They are a part of our top of the top, the best of everything from this weekend. And Kevin Durant says the Nets just need to play. So our panel breaks down what the Nets need to do to succeed without Kyrie Irving. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to NBA Today, your new home for the NBA on ESPN. I'm Malika Andrews, joined by Richard Jefferson, Chiney Ogwumike, and Ramona Shelburne. And what a weekend it was across the league. It was exciting. So let's go coast to coast on some major accomplishments, starting with Chris Paul becoming the first player in NBA history to reach 20,000 points and 10,000 assists in his career. It was an exciting night to be in the building. I mean, what an accomplishment.
Oh, well, Chris Paul's got all of it. Chris Paul is going to have every award possible by the time it's over.
Absolutely. And then we have Carmelo Anthony, who passed Moses Malone last night for 9th all-time on the scoring list. Next up for him is Shaquille O'Neal. And then we have Steph Curry with the shot. He recorded his 5,000th assist last night against the Kings. First Warrior player to do so.
I feel like I had to play with more energy, I think, when I got that block.
Harris, and a block from Durant, coming from a weak side.
I think that ignited our team a bit, gave us some energy.
Oh, Steph, is he mad at somebody? Wow.
There's still a lot of room for improvement. You know, we won 3 different games, 3 different ways.
Carmelo looking to become number 9 all time. He's got it!
What does it mean for you to now be 9th on the all-time scoring list? I'm 19 years in, man, still passionate about the game. I'm still passionate about my craft.
Here's Paul, lobbing in. Ayton oops the alley.
Man, we got real pros on our team. One of my favorite locker rooms I haven't been in 17 years.
Ball for Caruso, triple-double, and the Caruso show.
I mean, it was the home opener, so I knew, he's going to come out with a lot of energy.
What do you got, Miles Bridges? Ooh, I'll take it.
Oh, man, celebration.
What Chauncey's done as a player, now as a coach, picks up his first win.
I love that. So that was the best sound from around the NBA this weekend, and the NBA never disappoints. This weekend was no different. From the top milestones to the top plays, we had it all. So, Chiney, I want to start with you. What was your biggest takeaway from this weekend?
Flying under the radar. I really love that we have 3 teams that are 3-0 that were not in the playoffs last year. We've got the Warriors, we've got the Chicago Bulls, and we've got the Charlotte Hornets. Ooh. It's really cool to see guys go off to good starts. Richard, you have something?
I have nothing to say. I was trying to remember, who was I talking about? I was like, who was I going to talk about? Was I going to talk about the Bulls, the Hornets?
We should talk about the Bulls, though, because I love how when you have a balanced roster, we know Zach LaVine is the explosive scorer and the star. You have Lonzo, a distributor. I love Nikola Vucevic. And then you also have a savvy vet in DeMar DeRozan. And to see these teams that sort of took the offseason very seriously, made big moves, start off the year strong, I loved it.
Okay, but if we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls, can we talk about the 3 teams that are the 3 games that they played? They didn't play against the best competition.
Nancy
it's not.
Okay, I get
it's not. I'm just setting the table. Like, don't be like, we're going to go undefeated. It's like, guys, you are beating the team that you're supposed to beat, and that's the good
And their
news.
defenses look great.
And
I think they had 13 steals.
But it gets harder from here. but you're doing what
but
you're supposed to.
Can we celebrate the good before we?
Like,
right?
We got good. We'll have bad cop
Richard?
over here. I mean, what's wrong?
Okay, let me see inside for you. Let me see inside for you.
Ramona?
Friday night, I'm watching the game with my friend up in Stanford. We were having my 20th reunion. Oh my God!
One Stanford reunion.
She got 4 kids. Everybody's falling asleep on the couch. Steph Curry gets going.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Wake up! Did you see Steph Curry against the Clippers? This meant 9 and 9 in the first quarter. 25 points in the quarter. Like, this guy, it was like, wake up off the couch. I don't care how old you are. It's like, it might as well be my 5th reunion the way he was playing. Like, Steph Curry is on one to start this season, and it's really where he picked up from last
Did you wake up off the couch, Richard?
No, I did. I'm not going to lie. Some of these games get a little bit tough when you got 2
I'm just
kids,
making sure.
But, my biggest takeaway is when I look at, the Charlotte Hornets and what Bridges has done.
All 3 of my teams.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to talk about LaMelo and what he's doing, and rightfully so. But Bridges has made some very, very big jumps. And now if we want to talk about, we're talking about early first few games, maybe most improved could be in the cards for him because he has been shooting the 3 well. The athleticism is off the chart. And when you have a point guard like LaMelo, that only heightens your athleticism because he knows how to get you the ball in the right spot. So he was my most impressive player this weekend.
So he sounds like he would be your MVP for this weekend. So Ramona, who would your MVP for the weekend?
That would be LaMelo. Oh, my goodness.
We got two on the
48
same
points,
team.
13 assists, 12 rebounds, 7 steals in those 3 games. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't know that he was going to be quadruple double.
Well,
and level. I mean,
Right.
this guy is. He is not just good right now in terms of scoring. He's leading his team to wins. And they beat the Brooklyn Nets yesterday.
Right, absolutely. And what was interesting was to hear his teammates talk about him after the game, saying maybe LaMelo last year even, he wouldn't have sat down and let some of his teammates take the lead when they got hot like they did in that game. That's another development in his game. Who is your MVP? I was
But it's great because we have been talking about these two based on the growth that they've had, and mine is Ja Morant.
Yep, there you
Prove
go.
all the haters, Richard. Prove all the haters wrong.
You're always a hater.
He made history, the first Grizzlies player with 40 points and 10 assists in a game, which was awesome. Exploded versus Lakers. Oh, tough to see that missing free throw.
I know.
But what he's been able to do, and I'm sure we're going to dive into that a little bit later, he leads the NBA right now in 35 points per game, right there with Paul George. Talk about most improved. They're going to be some real candidates this year.
Absolutely. And you guys, I mean, you mentioned it. Amazing weekend in LA for the Grizzlies and for Ja Morant. Saturday, he dropped 28 points against the Clippers. So let's take a little bit of a deeper look at that game. LeBron and the Lakers, they were looking for their first win of the season, hosting Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. So let's pull up in the third quarter. Memphis is up 1. Morant drives through the defenders. Look at this unbelievable spin layup. Take a closer look.
Ain't doing my boy Bays, man.
That's Anthony Davis right there.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why he went the other direction. He was like, let me go to the other side.
AD have 4 blocks in this game.
I love it, Ramona. That's AD right there.
Right. So later in the third, Morant, look at this. Splits the double team. Two-handed jam.
I'm telling you,
there.
It's Westbrook. You see it and you see
So
the
the
flashes
ensuing
of
Lakers
Westbrook.
possession, here we go. Carmelo
Bucket.
drains that three. With that bucket, that's where he passed Moses Malone for 9th all-time on the scoring list. So we're still in the third quarter here. The game is tied at 83. Morant spins. Acrobatic. Makes the scoop layup. Gets by Kent Bazemore again. It was a tough night for Baze. He had 27 points in 3 quarters. Memphis up by 3 heading into the fourth. So we have just over a minute left. Lakers are up by 1. Westbrook misses here. Clean up on Io Mello. This is why the crowd loved Carmelo last night. So the Lakers are up by 3. 5.6 seconds left to play. Here we go. Ja Morant goes up to 3. Not quite. Kent Bazemore fouled him.
I told you about that since you were a rookie.
3 free throws. We got 1. He makes it. 2. Hits again. So that's a 40th point of the night.
Oh, here we go.
Comes up with a third. Misses it just off the backboard. It was a tough night. The Lakers win 121-118. But it was such a good game. You can see Ja's disappointed in himself there. But here's what Ja tweeted just 11 minutes after the final whistle. Failure builds character, followed by, how are you going to respond?
I love that.
Here was Ja after the game.
I really don't care about, what I've done tonight in this game. I missed the free throw to, tie it. So it's pretty much the only thing on my mind. But I'm pretty sure those guys know at the end of the day that, I'm going to be front line and ready to go to war with them as well.
Obviously, he missed a free throw, but I'm so confident when he steps up to the line there at any point in the game, especially late in the game. He's going to knock down 1 million game winners. He's a highly motivated individual from day one. This is going to continue to push him because it's all about helping his team win. So I know he's going to learn from that, get better, and be ready to go out there and knock those down in the future like he will.
So Morant has been on a tear this season. And when I say tear, this is what I mean. Take a look at the numbers. He had 37 points in the season opener, followed by 28 on Saturday against the Clippers, and a 40-point double-double last night. He's averaging 35 points per game. That is tied with Paul George for the most in the NBA. And I mean, it was an incredible game. So I think we need a breakdown from both teams' perspectives. Do you guys?
Let's go to the board.
Let's get it.
Let's go to the board. Let's go to the board. Let's talk about a little Ja.
Oh, sorry.
Let's talk about a little Laker.
A little ashy.
A little ashy. God, my bad. Listen, it's raining. Listen, it's raining in LA, so it's my fault. I didn't put on lotion. Too much moisture. But I want to talk to you about Ja. What have you seen from him so far in this early point of the season?
Well, we know Ja Morant, he's amazing, with his athleticism and getting to the rim. But how do you get to unlocking that game? You knock down your three-point shot. And I want to give you guys some numbers. Here's some numbers I'm going to hit you with. His first 2 seasons, producer Greg, you gonna let me live? Oh, there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. 31% from 3 for his first 2 seasons. This season, he's shooting 44% from three. So knocking down the outside shot, and I love Greg, by the way, y'all, has been able to help him unlock his game, and I'm going to show you exactly why. Let's run the tape. When you see a play like this that's coming up, which is truly impressive, he's dribbling. When you see a guard back up, that means they want to shoot. AD knows that this is the danger zone, the three-point line, and so he pulls up. When a post backs up, they're supposed to make sure that they're supposed to be on the three-point line and defending. But instead, once again, you go under. This is Kent Bazemore. Under a screen.
They're giving it to him.
They're giving it right to him, and he knocks it down. 44% from three so far this season, which has been truly impressive, and that unlocks his game. Now he's got you on your heels. He's knocked down some shots. You come out there, and then he attacks, and this is where we get the highlights.
That's when Ja gets to be Ja.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what has helped him this season so far, his ability to be athletic and aggressive, but he knows in order to unlock his game, he has to knock down the shot, then he attacks, and then we get the highlights. But they did lose, unfortunately.
Yes, but it's about growth. Look, that was a very good Laker team, and we're going to switch sides to the other side of the ball. Now, look, the Lakers have been tweaking their offense a little bit with Westbrook, and look, they're using him in the pick and roll. Now, all these plays don't end great because Anthony Davis bricks this one, but ultimately, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get Anthony Davis at the 5, and then again, they're using Russ here in the screen and roll. Look, these are great opportunities. Again, this is a turnover, but those will be cleaned up. Those things will be cleaned up, but that was the difference. They didn't play Rondo last game. That's going to help Westbrook get. Again, here, he's setting screens for AD. This is what I'm trying to show you. Yes, all of these plays didn't play great or didn't end up great, but at the end of the day, you can see the Lakers are starting to figure out how they want to use Russell Westbrook. What's the best way to get him? And then even switching up your lineups. No Rondo for him, no Rondo at all. So basically that means that Russell and Bron are the primary ball handlers, and that's just going to help with their rhythm.
He looked way more comfortable, Russell Westbrook.
Oh, 1,000 times more comfortable out there. I know he still had a ton of turnovers, but ultimately it's like, oh, they're going to figure this out. They're already tweaking their offense.
13 assists last night.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting that chemistry. You know who else looked real comfortable last night? And we touched on it earlier. That was Carmelo Anthony, who passed Moses Malone for 9th all-time in scoring. And he finished with 28 points in 28 minutes. So, Ramona, how did we get to the point that Melo is having this kind of an impact on the Lakers? Because you heard those fans. It is Melo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to me, having covered him for his entire career in the NBA, to see him in this spot now. Because when he was a free agent, the Lakers really thought that they had a chance at him. New York ended up giving him the no-trade clause, the 5th year, everything they could give him to keep him. But I remember talking to Kobe Bryant at the time, and Kobe was the big recruiter then. I mean, and for Kobe to recruit is saying something.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kobe, can Melo play the way you need him to play to win a championship?
Interesting.
And he said, he did it in college. He won in college. You know it's in there.
Right.
And so now at the end of Melo's career, however many years he has left, it could be this year, next year, another couple years. The way he's going, it looks all right tonight.
Yeah, he's got a couple more years, in my opinion, at this high level of like a good contributor. That was the biggest transition for him. Could he transition from being a starter and a superstar in this league, because he was above star, he was a superstar? Could he transition to being a high level role player and be comfortable with that?
You see how quickly he's getting rid of the ball? Like, this isn't Melo out there dribbling for 10 seconds and maybe with a fall away at the end. Like, they find him and he gets rid of it. He gets that shot off.
Yeah, and what I really truly love is that this is going to be the big question for the Lakers. Will all of their veteran players accept the roles that they're in? And I do think that the previous stops for Carmelo, the hiatus, has really indicated, all right, like, I can make the most of the minutes I'm out there. I'm a player that had to deal, post injuries with, coming off the bench at times, knowing that it was better for my team. Again, I played with Nneka and Candace Parker and Chelsea Gray. So I sort of knew, like, okay, if I can provide a boost playing 22 minutes on a minutes restriction, that's the best thing for the team. Carmelo has understood that. Now it's on the rest of the squad to sort of figure out their spot.
And I was talking to one of their coaches, and they said, he really has brought this hunger because he's never won before. A lot of the guys in this team have won before. They're trying to get back to it, but he's never won before, and that presence has really been a good culture fit for them.
Yeah, and lastly, the thing I'll say is, like, you look at the vets. Rondo was brought in just to be a veteran and a locker room voice. Because of some injuries, he got bumped up. But you don't worry about Rondo not playing. You don't worry about him because he's going to accept his role, and I think that's going to be great for this Laker chemistry in the beginning.
Being a star in your role, that's going to be a key. So next up for the Lakers, they have Tuesday night in San Antonio, and the Grizzlies' next game is Wednesday in Portland. On crowd chanting, "Stand with Kyrie," in support of Kyrie Irving, who is unvaccinated, which is why he is currently not with the team. So we now welcome in Om Young-Masuk, who's covering the Nets for us. He was at Sunday's game in Barclays Center. And we just saw video footage, and you were there. So what was the scene like on Sunday outside of the arena?
Malika, I was all up in that protest, getting out there, shooting video, and it's really kind of surreal, Malika. I think you know, having lived in New York City, this was actually a pretty diverse protest. There were old people, young people. I saw families with kids in their strollers. I saw, black, white. I even saw an old Asian lady, and they were all chanting "Stand with Kyrie" and "No vaccine mandate." It really kind of only got out of hand a little bit once, where a handful of protesters tried to barge their way through the front door, and they were stopped by Barclays security. But we're going to see tonight if those protesters come back. There was actually a protest today that walked across Brooklyn Bridge for municipal workers. They were protesting the vaccine mandate.
Interesting. I checked in with a Nets official, and they said that any charges would have to be brought by police. The Nets are not going to be looking into that specifically. But I am curious, how is Kyrie Irving's absence? How is that affecting Brooklyn?
So, look, Steve Nash kind of gave us a warning on Friday night after they won in Philadelphia, in which they needed a triple-double from Kevin Durant and to score 16 of the final 17 points to win. He said it's not going to be pretty for a while because he is still experimenting with rotations and lineups. And then we didn't think scoring would be an issue for these Nets. Only 2 Nets scored in double figures on Sunday in their loss to Charlotte. Kevin Durant and James Harden were the only ones to score in double figures. Afterwards, Kevin Durant was asked twice if the Nets have enough to win.
We definitely want Kyrie Irving out here on the floor, and he's a huge part of what we do, but it's not happening right now, so we got to figure it out. But nobody's going to lose confidence while we playing and hope Kyrie come and save us during the game. Nah, we got to play.
Malika, the Nets are in the second of a 6-game homestand, of which we don't think Kyrie Irving is going to be here anytime soon. So the Nets have to figure out how they are going to play without Kyrie Irving. This feels like preseason extended for Steve Nash and his team.
Interesting, Omen. You were standing in Barclays Center where they have a back-to-back the second half tonight where the Nets take on the Wizards. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us. We have a lot to unpack here with the Nets. Brooklyn lost that game to Charlotte and is now 1-2 on the season. So I definitely want to break this down a little bit on the court with Chiney Ogwumike and Richard Jefferson. And Richard, Chiney, you just heard Kevin Durant, and you heard him say that we're just not able to wait for Kyrie Irving. They can't sit around and wonder if and when he's going to come back. They'll just need to play, and they can't just be saved. So, yeah. Chiney, what's that going to take?
Well, we know that, Kevin Durant, when he wakes up, he's going to get a bucket. Like, that's a fact, period.
Eats buckets for breakfast.
Thank you. And, their previous game, their last game, he was 17 for 24 from the field. A productive, normal night for Kevin Durant. The question is, how is everyone else going to hold it down? And if you look, Om just mentioned it, like 2 guys in total in double figures. That does not work in the NBA right now. Mind you, we know that the Nets are experimenting with rotations and their rosters, given that they're trying to find how to emerge out of this, liminal space. But we know KD's going to show up. James Harden probably needs to do a little bit more. He's been great in Brooklyn, leading with assists and trying to get everyone else going, but we kind of need a little bit more of Houston James. And then the supporting cast has to find their groove.
No, they do. And one of the things that you look around the league, the Phoenix Suns, the Denver Nuggets, the Utah Jazz, teams that have had their normal roster, they're going to have like a normal kind of trajectory of how they're going to play. Same with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Sure.
But then when you get to the Phoenix, or when you get to the Brooklyn Nets, you get to the Los Angeles Lakers, there's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of changes. There's been some drama, especially up there in Brooklyn. They're going to figure it out. If there's anybody that questions Kevin Durant, he was an early MVP candidate. James Harden was one of the MVP favorites in the middle of the season last year. They're going to figure it out. They got new talent. They got guys back. So it's going to take a little bit of time.
I do like that we saw LaMarcus Aldridge, a good game from him as well.
Right.
Like, they're going to find it, just will take some time.
And he's not playing tonight. He's resting on the second half of the back-to-back. But Kevin Durant is playing. He's expected to play, is available to play, at least as of right now, for this second half. So it sounds like what you're saying is, similarly to the Lakers, this is early days.
No, the LaMarcus thing is like the Carmelo. It's great to see the vets contributing at a high level. You don't need it every night, but when they give it to you.
Right. Well, and similarly to Carmelo, you mentioned earlier the buy-in, right? Carmelo has not won, and that is furthering his want to be there, right? when you look at LaMarcus, what he went through last year, being forced to face retirement before he was ready, you can clearly tell that he wants to be there. This is something that he's going to be playing hard for. So another storyline from this game and the early part of the season is James Harden not getting to the free throw line as quickly as and frequently as he was in previous seasons. So Harden has only attempted 9 free throws through 3 games this season.
Wow.
So let's put that into comparison. 3 seasons prior to this one, that's a big difference. In the same span last season, Harden already had taken 36, so 36 to 3 free throws. In 2019, it was 48. So Brooklyn head coach Steve Nash believes this is because of the new rule change on the officiating where they say overt or abrupt or abnormal non-basketball moves, that's not okay.
He's unfairly become the poster boy of not calling these fouls. But some of them are definitely fouls still.
No matter how much of a big deal we try to make it, a foul is a foul. It's pretty simple. I feel like putting too much emphasis on rules, or not even rules, just certain people, to where you look at it as clear fouls. And but for me, you just got to keep going. No big deal.
I feel like I remember Steve Nash having some complaints about this when it came to Trae Young, but now that we're shifting, so is this a valid complaint from Nash?
It is a valid complaint because basically what happens, it's the stars. It's the stars, and then it trickles down to the rest of the league because you're talking about usage rate. So people were talking about Steph. They were talking about, Trae. They were talking about James Harden be the #1 guy. So these are some of the plays that they are no longer calling fouls on for him. But James Harden is a multi-talented individual. If we're just focused on free throws, but some of these are missed. So he is getting unfairly targeted, and he just can't let that affect his game. Because look, he's just having a full-on conversation right now.
It's so easy to say that when this rule comes into effect, we're going to look at this man, James Harden, based on the public pressure that has been exuded through NBA fans saying, and you guys know I say it all the time, dribble, step back, dribble, free throw. You can laugh at me. It's okay.
Yeah, I just want that.
Right? Free throw. And people felt some type of way, but it was effective for him in the position he was. That was the best option for the Rockets.
Sure.
And I will say this, Richard, as a hooper, we know in the locker room, what's the #1 sign of a player being aggressive?
Free throws.
Getting to the free throw line. While James Harden is great at knocking down, threes and floaters, we saw a different kind of aggression when he kind of risked it all to come to Brooklyn. And so this year is different. There's a lot that's in the balance. And so I think it's a combination of the new rule and him trying to sort of feel out what this team looks like after having a season where he focused on passing first. But one thing I love about James Harden, that man can turn it on at any time.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. But this is, but to your point that you made earlier, this isn't just James Harden. The NBA isn't at an all-time low. So they've cut it all out. And that happens a lot. When there's a big rule change or there's adjustments, you see this big shift, and then it slowly starts, the referees start to kind of get their rhythm because this is brand new for them also.
Well, and it's a pendulum swing, right? These players, they're smart. They learn these rules, and they learn how to use them to their advantage, right? So you have seen players when the rule was a little bit different, when you didn't have this rule, learning how to contort and use their bodies and play to that rule. So there's an adjustment period there. Yeah. But players like James Harden, like Trae Young, like Steph Curry, we saw that they're going to figure it out. And whatever you think of the new rules, they're making an impact across the NBA. This season, teams are averaging 19.5 free throw attempts per game, which would be the lowest in any season in NBA history, as you alluded to, Richard. So let's switch gears a little bit. The team that beat the Nets.
Oh, the Hornets, let's go.
Richard, the Hornets are 3-0 for the first time in the history of the franchise. How are they doing it?
They're doing it through a team. First of all, my guy Bridges, I talked about him. He was my most valuable player of this weekend, 30+. And look, it's not just dunks. There's some sexy to it. If you guys are not watching the Charlotte Hornets, jump on board right now. They got swag. They got the drip. They got the dunks. They share the ball. They play a great brand of basketball. And Miles Bridges should be the Eastern Conference Player of the Week because he performed against a high-level opponent in Brooklyn. And that's one thing that I like, and I'm looking forward to watching them all year.
And he is the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, Janae.
Are you saying right now Charlotte is way too sexy?
They are sexy. They're too sexy.
But, you know where that's from, though?
Oh,
are you a lover boy?
No. I'm not a lover boy. No, I'm not certified.
My only point is they have 2 players that are in the top 3, I think, in plus-minus, which shows that they're playing a good brand of basketball. But I just like to
see. I'm old enough. I'm old enough where it's right said, Fred, but we won't talk about that.
You can just stop. I'm old.
Yeah, you just stop.
Full stop. End of the sentence.
Okay.
Guys, we can't talk about the Nets and Kyrie and not talk about the other drama saga. And that's the Sixers and Ben Simmons. So coming up, don't worry, Richard. Ramona Shelburne is back to tell you the latest. First up, we got top clutch shots. Check out D'Angelo Russell. Look at him.
Come on. Mr.
Look at
Ice in his veins himself.
Oh! And that was a dagger.
A capital D.
No, he's got the clutch gene. I don't
Dagger.
know how.
Ice in my veins.
Yeah, he's got the clutch gene. So I'll give him. I've seen him do it himself.
Well, and then we've also, I mean, look at him. He's like, I know what I did.
You know.
I'm a bad man. And then we also have Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, Janae, you're all over this.
Yeah, I love
Dagger.
Jaren Jackson Jr. His
at this.
mother, fun fact, is our executive director of the WNBPA.
Oh,
And he got paid.
And he got paid. Get that money.
There you go.
Get that money,
well,
young
then we
man.
have to take a look at the top block party. So we're going to have to start again. Shanae is just all over this. We're going to start in Chicago, where Lonzo Ball has a huge rejection. Look at this.
Yes.
Oh.
Get up. We got to see that
Yes.
again.
This play was going viral, and I was like, why is it going viral? It was because of their defense. You gotta love it.
And then we have to stop by in LA, where Eric Bledsoe just climbs Steven Adams for this block. Like, look how high up he is. Eric Bledsoe's not that big.
No,
like, he got all the way up. And then last but not least, we have
this
Joel
was the
Embiid.
block. This
He
was the
shows
block.
how it's done.
This was the
he shows
block.
how it's done. What a block
That's one of the
from
blocks of the
Embiid.
year.
Joel Embiid's first sport was volleyball. That's why.
And you can see it right there.
He got bounce. He got all the bounce.
Well, we also have some top acrobatics. So Ja Morant, we already talked about him. We got to take a look on the drive.
That was
change gears, baby.
That body
But
control.
that's where he lives.
But that's what people don't understand. He's skinny, but he's strong. You know how strong you have to be to jump on one side. And we're not even talking about the crossover, my guy, Babe.
He makes
But then
it look
bring
easy.
it down and up in the English.
Filet.
Come on, the
Makes it look
English.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
And the phantom cam just getting underneath there. I mean, that's incredible. So we also have top slams, and we got to start with my favorite hairstyle.
Lil Rich loved this
the
one.
Fro. Jared Allen, your boy from Brooklyn.
Oh, watch this. Throw it in on him. He's like,
oh my God.
Lil Rich was like, Daddy, is that a dunk? And
He
I'm
didn't
like,
realize he brought
yes.
it to Cleveland.
I'm like,
Oh
yes,
my
that is a
goodness.
dunk. Sometimes
He
you get
surprised
up
himself
so
on that one.
Yeah, you get up so high, you just throw it in. You ain't got to touch the rim.
That was incredible.
The hair makes it better.
And then we are in Chicago.
Oh, what we got?
We got DeMar DeRozan.
Oh. See, that's what I'm saying. Look, so they beat Detroit. Like they destroyed Detroit.
Oh my God! Look, he's like, I got up there. I got to sit down for a second. That was strong. And then, I mean, we also got top vision. This was incredible. Nikola Jokic. I don't even understand how he gets this done. That ball went like two different directions.
Oh,
Look at it.
They were so mad he didn't make it. Those are the hardest shots
I know,
because it's such
but
a great pass.
Look at this pass. It goes like dodges guys two different
And then he has
ways.
to get the old board.
I need someone with a physics degree to tell me exactly.
Ooh,
these shots are hard for like any shooter because you're surprised the ball
because
got
the pass
there.
is so
They're
good.
like, how did
It's
this
so
just
good. You're just like, how did
Normally
that?
those passes make
And then he has
themselves.
to go and get the rebound and just put it in.
I'll do it all, guys. I'll do it all.
First up, we got top clutch shots. Check out D'Angelo Russell. Look at him.
Come on. Mr.
Look at
Ice in his veins himself.
Oh! And that was a dagger.
A capital D.
No, he's got the clutch gene.
Dagger.
I don't know how.
Ice in my veins.
Yeah, he's got the clutch gene. So I'll give him. I've seen him do it himself.
Well, and then we've also, I mean, look at him. He's like, I know what I did.
You know.
I'm a bad man. And then we also have Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, Janae, you're all over this.
Yeah, I love Jaren Jackson Jr. His
at this.
mother, fun fact, is our executive director of the WNBPA.
Oh,
And he got paid.
And he got paid. Get that money.
There you go.
Get that money,
well,
young
then
man.
we have to take a look at the top block party. So we're going to have to start again. Shanae is just all over this. We're going to start in Chicago, where Lonzo Ball has a huge rejection. Look at this.
Yes.
Oh.
Get up. We got to see that
Yes.
again.
This play was going viral, and I was like, why is it going viral? It was because of their defense. You gotta love it.
And then we have to stop by in LA, where Eric Bledsoe just climbs Steven Adams for this block. Like, look how high up he is. Eric Bledsoe's not that big.
No,
like he got all the way up. And then last but not least, we have Joel
this was the
Embiid.
block. This
He
was the
shows
block.
how it's done.
This was the
he shows
block.
how it's done. What a block
That's one of the
from
blocks of the
Embiid.
year.
Joel Embiid's first sport was volleyball. That's why.
And you can see it right there.
He got bounce. He got all the bounce.
Well, we also have some top acrobatics. So Ja Morant, we already talked about him. We got to take a look on the drive.
That was
change gears, baby.
that body
But
control.
that's where he lives.
But that's what people don't understand. He's skinny, but he's strong. You know how strong you have to be to jump on one side. And we're not even talking about the crossover, my guy, Babe.
He makes
But then
it
to
look
bring
easy.
it down and up in the English.
Filet.
Come on, the
Makes it look
English.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
The phantom cam just getting underneath there. I mean, that's incredible. So we also have top slams, and we got to start with my favorite hairstyle.
Lil Rich loved this
the
one.
Fro. Jared Allen, your boy from Brooklyn.
Oh, watch this. Throw it in on him. He's like,
oh my God.
Lil Rich was like, Daddy, is that a dunk? And I'm like,
yes. To Cleveland.
I'm like, yes, that is the dunk. Sometimes you get up
himself on that one.
Yeah, you get up so high, you just throw it in. You ain't even got to touch the rim.
That was incredible.
The hair makes it better.
And then we are in Chicago.
Oh, what we got?
We got DeMar DeRozan.
Oh. See, that's what I'm saying. Look, so they beat Detroit. Look, they destroyed Detroit.
Oh my God! Look, he's like, I got up there. I got to sit down for a second. That was strong. And then, I mean, we also got top vision. This was incredible. Nikola Jokic. I don't even understand how he gets this done. That ball went like 2 different directions.
Oh,
they
were so mad he didn't make it. Those are the hardest shots because it's such a great pass.
Look at this pass. It goes like. Dodges guys 2 different ways.
And then he has to get the whole board.
I need someone with a physics degree to tell me exactly.
Ooh,
these shots are hard for like any shooter because you're surprised the ball got there.
Is so
You're like, how did this
so good? You're just like, how did
Normally
that?
Those passes make
and then he has to go and get the rebound and put it in.
I'll do it all, guys. I'll do it all.